Hey guys, I think this is a fitting and appropriate song for my podcast because anybody who's had mental health is definitely a survivor. When I'm done with my podcast, you guys will know and you will realize that this is an appropriate song for us. So, let's get started. So good, guys. So good. Let's ease off on that. All right. So, my name is Vicky, and this is how I'm classified usually. I present as a 41-year-old woman who has bipolar, and that is the definition that I am repeatedly named as on all my medical documents. 5 years ago I was in a car accident, and all the specialists I've seen since have described me in that manner. What does that say about me? Like, it makes me feel self-conscious. And these are medical doctors. So here I am with that. Why is that an issue? And if doctors have a hard time not stigmatizing mental health, then imagine what just the not common person who walks the street feels with such little knowledge about mental health. So I have heard someone say, which is a pretty good quote. I'm going to read it out of my book and try not to stumble over my words. Even for the most open-minded, judgment is part of our natural condition. And I think that's true. I think it's really well said. It's really well said. So my story it truly began, I think, as a teenager and after puberty, where I just felt just so different. Like, I fit in so much, but in my mind is this constant chaos. And I struggled to keep all those feelings a secret. So it's shitty. So I guess, short story, I had my daughter when I was 16 in high school. And shortly after I had her, then the doctors started to prescribe me antidepressants because I was experiencing low mood. Now, what that means for people as a definition, it means that you've experienced 2 weeks of sadness or longer, you're considered to be depressed. So I was regularly put on antidepressant, and to me at the time I thought it was like a miracle medication. And what would happen is I would take it, and then instantaneously I would feel amazing. Like, I just feel amazing. And sorry, I don't mean to look down, it's like a bad habit. But I started feeling quickly, like super quick, like really, really up. So I'd be like, wow, these antidepressants are amazing. Now I don't have to take them anymore. So that kind of went on and off. And then my next serious bout of depression came after my second daughter. And that was just anxiety, and I couldn't leave the house, and it was really out of control. And it was hard to connect with everybody at that time because something with my postpartum just kicked off, and it kind of reared its ugly head. So again, went to the doctor, and this time I was prescribed antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication, which I started taking. But at the time, my youngest was only a month old, so I had to be quite careful with what I took. Now, thank God, because of our technology and our advancements in medicine, it can be quite safe. So it's amazing how medical evolution turns out and helps out people with chemical imbalances, because that's what they are. And so I did again the med and the anxiety, and then quickly after that, I just picked up and I went, and I went along with these up and downs and this depression, and then pills, and then stopping, and then starting, and it just went on and on and on and on. And I like still imagine now 2 kids, a husband, and madness in your head, just absolute madness. And again, playing the part that I was fine. But this illness that was lurking in the background, it destroyed my life. It destroyed it. Because there's some things that, according to different diagnosis, you get different just behavioral issues. And that really impacted my life and impacted my marriage. Thankfully, the only thing it didn't impact was my kids. And I thank God for that always, because it just didn't. Somehow I was blessed with kids that just are so gracious and kind and loving towards me that they never ever judged me, and even to this day. And that makes me so proud, even giving me the ability to talk so freely about my experience. They're just super. They're the first 3 that tuned in to my Facebook and my Instagram. So that says something. It says that I did something right. But so I did that, and it was hard, and it would show, like, I couldn't do things consistently for a long period of time, because I could do really, really, really well and be hyper focused, and then all of a sudden just be down and really shitty. Like at my job, I'd be hyper focused and amazing, and my bosses would give me like high five, and it'd be great, and I'd get letters and emails and calls to thank me, and just as sharply as that happened, I would just downfall, and then I would get the opposite reaction. It's like all the negative feedback that appeared to be like, if they didn't know, and so I can't really blame them, but I didn't know either, so I was ill prepared to deal with like all that. I was working at a high pressure job, and I was in management, and there's just a lot of pressure in management. It comes from everywhere. It's an awful job. I don't know who managers are out there. God bless them. But I just can't. Like, I'm a lover of my work, my staff, and my customers, but I hate the numbers, and I hate all the bureaucratic bullshit that goes along with it. And so I think my next downfall, it was 26, and that is really when I was no longer able to mask my symptoms. I remember the day that I left my work. I had been crying all day at work. And then on top of that, had this horrific meeting with my bosses. And I just couldn't contain myself. And I walked out of that store and I said, I'm not coming back. Like, I can't. I called the doctor immediately after. It's like something snapped. And I called the doctor immediately after, and I went to her office, and she'd been encouraging me for quite some time to stop working. And by the time I was 26, I had 3 children. So now there's more people to take care of it. And, I tried so hard, to hold it together, but it really came undone in some aspects because you just can't manage all those things. So, again, I go to the doctor, and again, I get antidepressants. Now we're trying all kinds of different antidepressants, because if you don't know, there's like 100,000 different types of antipsychotics, or not antipsychotics, but depressive medication, anxiety medication, a combo. So it's just like craziness. So I was giving the antidepressant, and I was going along, and it was just like a really difficult time in my life. My marriage was going south, and I was just drowning in my life, and the whole time trying to keep the secret. And the only person that knew something was sliding off and like kicking off was my doctor. And so one day I just had enough. And I remember taking a picture of my family and getting into the car, and this is like a while back. So getting in the car and driving down to a golf course on Marine Drive, and I just wanted to die. And I left the house because I wanted to go die away from everybody. And it's the first time that like death was very alluring to me. It was alluring, and I wanted it. And I was in so much pain, and I was tired. And for anybody who's tired, depression tired, or it's a different kind of beast. It's not just like, oh, I didn't sleep well enough last night and I'm tired. It's a mental, physical, spiritual, like empty tank gone. So I was just crying, and instead, I don't know what, I just made a turn and ended up at one of our local hospitals, and I got, I was seeing being triaged, and saw a nurse, and I was holding my picture, and he's like, who are those people? And I was like, that's my family. And he's like, well, then why would you want to do that? But what an asinine thing to say to me. Why would anyone want to do that, guys? It's not what you wish for when you're a kid. When I grew up, I wish to want to die. Like, it's just crazy. And this is, again, like kind of like the small things that like that nurses or even doctors or even specialists will just like, it's so silly. It's kind of insulting as well. But that happened, and I went to the hospital. They signed me into the hospital. I was signing all the forms. Yeah. So after that, I spoke to my my doctor, and she sent me immediately to the hospital, at which time is the first time I had ever been certified in my life. And I was still just 26. And that, I'm just thinking back to that time. That experience was scary. No one who wants to go to psych ward. It's like the most unpleasant place, but not only is it unpleasant, it's aesthetically unpleasing. So it's kind of like, I describe it like a miniature prison, because you have to defend yourself to all kinds of different other people that have other different medical, issues, mental health issues. Yeah, I stayed there. I was there for 17 days, and the doctor prescribed me a high dosage of antipsychotics and other stuff, and they started observing me. So over the 17 days, I found out that I was actually not depressed, guys. Ready for it? I was bipolar. You know what? When they told me that message, I was so happy, because I thought, oh God, like finally, like if you have a name for it, then you must be able to fix that, right? You have an answer for me, and my life is going to be better. Like, quick fix. I know what it is. And then that's when I'm just thinking back to that time. I can't help but like wander off. I apologize. But that is when my life just imploded. So instead of having a diagnosis and getting better, I had the diagnosis, and we started playing with medication. So let me tell you the basics of medicating someone who is bipolar. You have a base medication. Usually it's lithium. That's what I was put on. And then on top of that, they give you an antipsychotic for your overall mood and your sleep. Then I got introduced a little bit, not a lot, guys, a little bit of an antidepressant, because guess what? All those years that I was taking antidepressants and getting up so fast, it's because I was bipolar the whole time, and no one saw it, because I wasn't going to anybody consistently. I was keeping it a secret, right? Like just suffering in my own agony, not knowing this whole time that I had something that could possibly be fixed, like with medication. Not perfect, but something. So my life went on, and it was just so hard from that point on. I lost, I'd say, a good 12 years. So I think I was out of that hospital for about a year. And back, you see your doctors like every month or every 2 weeks, depending on where you're at. You check in, and usually you have a nurse, and they're your team. and they follow you. But so this is what I was doing. This is the truth. I was being medicated, and they were changing my medication so quickly because that's how they figure out like what works for you. And I was pooling all this medication. And one day I remember getting into a horrendous fight with my then husband, and it was just, again, something just snapped, but it snapped a lot harder than at that time where I walked out of my job. And I went into the washroom and I locked myself in the washroom, and I consumed, I think, over 72 like pills. And it was crazy. It was just like, I was in so much pain. Like, it's unbearable because it's not like physical pain. It's mental anguish. And your own head is your fucking worst enemy. And who helps you? You're supposed to advocate for yourself. Who helps you in that moment when you have 72 plus pills in a fucking bag and you're just popping them all in because you are so desperate, so desperate. Yeah, you're just desperate. So, sorry, I didn't think I would get emotional. It's been a lot of years of this, but somehow I got out of the washroom, and I remember sliding down like the wall to seated position, and I remember somebody calling me and saying, Victoria, and it's like rubbing my chest like super hard, and that's it. 3 days later, I wake up at a hospital. I was like livid and unsure, and nobody was there. No one. And I was handcuffed to fucking bed. And it was, obviously my lowest point. And I can't believe that I lived it, you know? I was so finished. Like, even now when I think about how desperate I was and how sad I was and how, like, I couldn't think straight. You can't think straight. Like, of course I have a perfect family and all, like, beautiful kids, but that wasn't enough. And I had I was just perfectly groomed and perfectly had the right answers and stuff. And it was all great, right? I went to PAC meetings. I did everything, but that means shit to you when you wake up attached to a hospital bed and no one's there. So that was like a higher escalation of this illness. From then, I think the best thing that could have ever happened to me happened. I got a team at a hospital in Burnaby, and they really put the next 12 years fighting with me and everything. And sorry, I'm doing that like nodding off thing. But like, they really saved my ass. I particularly I had a team now, so that consists of a nurse and a psychologist, and that's full time. Like, they follow me indefinitely. So for the next 12 years, I got admitted to the psych work certified at least once every year. And again, we do the song and dance. I very rarely have manic episodes. So if anybody doesn't know, bipolar is like, it's a mood disorder. And it's really up or down or like straight in the fucking middle. So my go-to is usually the lows, and that's why I end up certified in a hospital, because they don't think that I'm safe with myself. And it's just, yeah, it's crazy to think about it. And I've seen so many things, and I've heard so many things, and I've had so many counselors, and finally found the right mix of medication, but it's still being tweaked. My meds got tweaked 3 weeks ago. So, and that's what my life is. But I take my medication and I just keep moving forward. And I'm a seasoned vet now in how to maneuver the system, and like therapists and the doctors, like I'm well in tune with my body and my mind. But it's not perfect. It's not perfect. And I continue with my story. So, I had a severe accident 5 years ago, and and a severe concussion as a result of that. So that messed with me, and I got certified again and put in the hospital. And I've been really fighting for the last years to turn around my life. And here I am, right? This is as perfect as it's going to get, which is, when I really think about it, not so amazing. But I mean, today I had a good day. So I'll just bank that one for that day. And I really am here to try to make a platform for people who have mental health issues. I really want to take away the stereotype or the stigma that surrounds us. It's not easy for me to share this story, but I think it needs to be heard, because anybody who has a mental health illness deserves a fair chance without discrimination. And it's my title. It's like Dr. Vicky, except it's bipolar Vicky. It follows me everywhere, in everything that I do. And that's okay. That's okay. So guys, that's okay for now, because this is why I'm here, to make a honest platform. Fuck Bell, let's talk. Nothing ever comes about liking or changing your background photo to mental health. It really truly doesn't. What helps is people paying attention to the people that they love around them, taking them for coffee, bringing them food, that's helpful to actually your whole mental health community if we all just look out for each other. So I'm really excited to hear other people's stories. There's so many things I'm just writing down, things we're going to cover and we'll have podcasts about. So I want to do, what does parenting look like for you and your mental health? Also kids with mental health. That is an extremely tricky subject, and it's heartbreaking as a parent. Getting started on your recovery. So what does it finally look like for you to receive proper mental health treatment? What you need? Pain and mental health that I've been experienced for the last 5 years after my car accident and then 2 surgeries. It was hell, and that really messed me up. It hospitalized me twice in less than 6 months. So, not fun. And then I think really, I cannot say this enough, your support group. So a lot of people might feel guilty about, leaning on people, but that's what we're meant to do. And that's why we find people that mean something to us, so we can lean on them. Eventually, the way that life works, it curves right back to your turn. And when it's your turn, those people will be there for you. And I promise, this is proven. It just comes right back around. I know I've done it in my life. I've been able to do some amazing things in the 12 years. I haven't been sitting in a corner sucking my thumb. I have done a lot of great volunteering things, and pretty crazy. I've worked with mental health, youth and mental health, addiction services, what do you call it? Sorry. I don't want to re-edit this. Violence against women and sexual assault against women. So I have been, in the 12 years working and volunteering within those things. And in translation, I speak Spanish and English. So I've donated my time when I have had moments of wellness. And that's how we build a strong community, because no one is more relatable than the person beside you that's experienced the same anguish, So let's just think as I'm leaving you with this podcast, let's just think about the maybe 5 people in your life that you think might be struggling, or even just one. 5 might be a lot. Okay, let's just do one till my next podcast. Think of one person that you think might be struggling. And right now with the COVID, it actually might be 5 now that I think of it. But think, call them, make them feel heard, seen, loved. That's how we cure mental health, and that's how we cure stigma. Okay, guys? So that is as simple as it is. That's how we cure the stigma, how we're scary, how we're so threatening to people. No, we're not. No, we're not. And we're not, as mental health patients, gonna feel those things anymore. Even I have those feelings that resonate in my mind, and I push them back and I push them back because you know what? I have an incredible, incredible, incredible support group. And on that note, actually, I'm going to say thank you. These things are hard subjects for, this is where I get emotional. And I'm not a crier, so I can't even believe that this is happening. But I want to thank my kids. Like, it's never been hard to be their mom. They're extraordinary women. And we continue to stick by each other, and it's my proudest accomplishment. Also, I need to thank everyone that helped me with this podcast, which oddly enough are just those people in the same support group that have enough belief in me that I am able to count on them for countless hours of help. And I'll thank my partner, Josh, because he showed me that life is possible in a different way. And all of us deserve to be happy. And I'm going to stop this mushy stuff and remember what I started with at the beginning. I started with this because, what are we? Survivors. Okay, guys? So until next week, Sunday, 7 o'clock, the following weekend, I'll see you guys. And we'll just survive another day, and another week, and another month, and then forward. Okay, guys, it's been a pleasure. I will see you guys